This is Thomas Michael Wake from astrowake.com. We're going to speak about astrotheology, and we're going to talk about Christianity and its relationship to astrology. Am I going to hell for studying the stars? Well, you wouldn't cast an astronomer to hell for studying the stars. Surely they don't worship the stars. Most scientists probably don't worship anything. That's not fair. But when we cast off science to knowing everything, what has astronomy done is stripped away the metaphysical aspects of astrology. Astrology came first, where our ancient ancestors, and not even that ancient, St. Thomas Aquinas wrote extensively on astrology. The debate usually was between free will, predestination, this conflict. The stars and the studying of them does not predict the future in a sense where we lose our free will to make choices. It does not inhibit this. No more than checking the weather forecast to see what the weather forecast is looking like. This is our environment. The stars, the heavens are also a part of our environment. Can a rainy day affect your mood a little bit more than a sunny day? Here's astrology affecting your environment, then affecting us personally. It's about energy. The sun gives off energy. Certainly we could see this. It's largely responsible for life. Does somebody who recognizes worship the sun? Surely not. That's the great fear. Is that, you're worshiping, you should go by God alone. God, Psalm 8:3. When I consider your heavens, the legit frickin' sky above us with its frickin' stars and the sun going through it with the frickin' moon. The heavens, my friend. Whenever you see the word heavens in the Bible, they're talking about the sky. Psalm 8, the psalmist who writes frickin' Psalm 8, verse 3. When I consider your heavens, the work of your fingers. I should just drop it right there. But then we have other verses in like Deuteronomy and Leviticus saying that you should not consult a medium. Lovers, a priest is a medium. Oh, a priest has been ordained, so all of a sudden they're higher than us? This inequality, this imbalance, this clericalism has been the cause for so much trouble in the church. Not astrology. If anything, it's ignorance of the heavens. When I consider your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars, which you have ordained. Whoa, what do we ordain something to do? We wouldn't ordain a brick to go teach us, although a brick and earth has much to teach us, and it is ordained, but that's a different topic. So, is that pantheism? No. St. Francis of Assisi would talk to the birds and called it brother, sun, sister, moon. Oh, how beautiful is that? Was he worshiping the stars? This ancient secret science that has been hidden and made occult, hidden from the ocular, the eye. Anything that you do that's hidden is occult. What do you do behind closed doors, hidden from people? Do you have sex? You're naked? That's something that's, when you have the moon, like covering the sun, that's an occultation. That's just a little tidbit, if you ever see that come up. And I might have had that wrong. Learning astronomy helps astrology. Shout out to this very great, I gotta get this guy a plug because he's helped me out. Shout out to Brett Joseph. Go follow him on, he's got a webinar registration called Conquer at astrologyhub.com. He gives free teachings. And he brings the earth aspect to astrology. So we're not getting lost in the heavens. It's all to bring us to earth. It's all about the elements. What makes up the heavens is what makes us up. There's our connection with the heavens, earth and heaven. The marriage of them. The very marriage of heaven and earth. Now you can do this without astrology. But they have been ordained to teach, to minister. Before I even get to the whiteboard, I got whiteboards on whiteboards. I got props. The Holy Sacred Bible. I have a master's degree in Catholic theology. This is a Catholic study Bible that they gave to us in school, so it's being used in the world of academia to give this more credit. Let us go to Job, the oldest book that we think we have in the Bible. It's older than Genesis even, is what people who study this have put together. Job chapter 38, verse 31. This is after Job has gone through hell with Satan as being the person who is the adversary testing him. So, and that's a whole other video. We'll get to that some other time. But he goes through and he remains faithful to God. And here is God, which is a whole other video, asking Job. Finally, Job is confronted by God. And he asks Job, have you tied cords to the Pleiades? The Pleiades are a star constellation in the astrological grouping constellation Taurus, the wild ox of Scripture. Whenever you see the wild ox, we're talking about the Taurus constellation or its attributes. Have you tied the cords to the Pleiades? The Pleiades, that's a whole other video, have lots to do with our genetic makeup, perhaps. And when he asks, have you tied cords to the Pleiades? Could this be towards having a relationship, a spiritual one? We're tying a cord to the stars? Ever seen those cartoons where you throw a cord on the moon and bring it down for somebody? How precious. Shout out to Walt Disney, very much into the occult. We have to get rid of the words New Age and occult, my fellow Christian brothers, if we're going to mature reasonably, rationally in our faith. Bring together reason and faith. As we bring together the heavens and the earth, let us continue. Have you tied cords to the Pleiades or loosened the bonds of Orion? Orion, the constellation that is going up against the Pleiadian Taurus constellation. A cosmic battle. Can you bring forth the Mazzaroth in their season? What is the word Mazzaroth? Well, we have some notes at the bottom. Pleiades, Orion, Bear, Mazzaroth. It is uncertain what astronomical group is meant by this Hebrew word. Perhaps the southern constellation. Let me clear that up for you. Catholic Study Bible, New American Bible Revised Edition. Mazzaroth is the zodiacal wheel with its 12 hosts of Samson, Hercules, 12 knights of the Round Table, the 12 apostles, the 12 tribes of Judah. Let us start with the earth. This is geocentric, for we are on Earth. If we were on the sun, we would be studying this solar-centrically, which can still be done and learned a lot about to take the sun. And that's another video. Moving on, we have a 360-degree circle. We are here. That's also the sun for the sign. Here's the sun for Earth, the sign, the symbol. There we have the 1 into 2. The yin and the yang. This is the most important thing, is to first start off with, before we even get to elementary, the elements, is the duality of this existence that we're in right here. We have the positive, the negative. We have the masculine, the feminine, the inward, the outward, the active, the reactive. Now we have north to south, the first line. The circle representing the womb, the woman. The negative force, matter, material, mater, mother. And then we have Father, fire, coming from the heavens to the earth. The procreative act of existence. The splitting of the 1 into 2. Now, we go from east to west. Here we have a familiar symbol. The sun is traveled around by the moon, rather Earth. Earth travels around the sun 365 days. We have a 360-degree circle we're going to put that into. That's another video. But to stay on topic, we have north, south, east, west. Here is our horizontal line, our meridian. This is the trip of the Earth around the sun. We're on a 23-degree axis, which gives us a line like that. Here's our hemispheres. So here we have at the bottom, we call that the Tropic of Capricorn. At the top, the Tropic of Cancer. What we do is bring that around, bam. Here we have the Tropic of Capricorn at the bottom. Here we have the Tropic of Cancer at the top. When we start summer. We also have our 4 elements. Fire, earth, air, water. We're going to get more into that. From this 4, this also gives us our 4 archangels. Each archangel is in charge of a certain element. Fire, Archangel Michael, who most resembles the sun, made of fire. His opposite, and these are also fixed stars, and we'll get to that. Archangel Michael is Aldebaran. Opposite to Aldebaran is Antares. I should go from, so to the east is Aldebaran, Michael, fire. See, matching up the elements with this, I'm just going to continue because there's some differing stories and I'm still putting them together, but we'll get the gist. The opposite of Michael is Uriel, earth. And then we have Gabriel, Gab, the annunciator to Mary, air, communication. And then we have water, Raphael, who's always seen with fish in his hand. And Raphael, you ride a raft. So now we have, and I'll put fire over there. I bet you it'll work out. So we'll do fire, we'll do air up there. Or maybe we should do air. So we're going to take this. I'll have to go through and edit that maybe. We're going to take our four. We have our four elements. We get them in three ways. And we have the three ways that we get them are first cardinal. The first one popping out. You see the red cardinal in the morning and fiery charging out. And then we have fixed. Something fires out and then it's fixed. And being fixed, being like kind of solid, stationary, somewhat, because everything's moving. Remember that. And then we have the final one is mutable, dissolving, dissolution, that state of fluctuation. So we have that, and then we also have that's going to be our important three, the three modalities of how we get our the four elements. Another number that we're going to throw in here is going to be 7. This lucky number 7. The 7 dwarfs are 7 planets. And we're going to come back to the planets as we go through the 12. The 3, the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 7. 5. Numerology has a big part to do with that. The Jewish mystic tradition, Kabbalah, has a lot to do with this. The chakra system matches up with the planets. We get into that. But for this purpose, I'm going to get through our 12 apostles' posts that the Son of God goes through in 1 year. So we're going to take our 4 and we're going to turn it into 12. You may have seen this before. On this here, I told you I had props. Woo! Good me. Okay, here we have fire. This is our first one. The sun comes up here. The sun sets there. And think about this on a clock, within a clock, within a clock. This is how our universe was set up and works. It's lit. Here, we're going to start off with Aries. Remember, this is where the sun rises and where we really start the year. This is the sun, the spring and the summer. And then we have the fall. The sun falls and goes into the winter months and then comes up and resurrects from the dark nights of winter, the 3 winter months. Each 3 pie pieces are a 30-degree angle. 30 pieces of silver is what Judas, with the kiss of death, the scorpion's sting, brings the sun to its fall. And then, on the 3rd day, after 3 days of being in months of winter, he resurrects as the Passover lamb, rather the Aries ram. Ram-a-lam-a-dim-gong. This goes with the human body. Aries, the ram, on the head charges, the charging ram, all the way down to the last sign, our feet of Pisces, the fish. Let's go ahead and put that symbol there. These are glyphs, symbols, for one of the 12 stations, houses of the Mazzaroth, of the zodiac. And we start with that cardinal fire, is that Aries ram charging out. Cardinal being the way that we get fire. And it's cardinal, which is the first one starting off, and it's fire. So you have the lamb of Passover. We just passed over from winter death into new life. The resurrection of Easter morning. Lovers, this is opening up the scriptures for us. This is nothing to be afraid of. This is something to excite in. That this hidden knowledge has resurrected from it being hidden in a cult. I'm not looking to add more into the occult. I'm looking to expose the cult Occult Exposed, with the cardinal Aries ram, who starts offspring, who takes that, who guides us, the good shepherd, who guides us through the year, the Son of God, the Lamb, the sacrificial Lamb, who was slain for our sins. This goes to 23. We're on an axis of 23, which gives us 23 is a mystical number. That's a little bit off topic. I'm scratching my nose. I was scratching my nose. I wasn't picking it. Allergy season. Freaking Tampa Bay, Florida, the knee pit of our country of America. That's beautiful. I'm thankful. We have a lot of palm trees. It's beautiful. Aries, the ram, the lamb, ruled by, there's one of our 7 planets. The first one is Mars. Mars. We have Mars backwards, ram. Mars, martial energy. Mars. Take that, put the M there. Arms, army, armament, harm, warm. Mars is a planet of passion. It's red, it's fiery, much like the Aries ram of cardinal fire. I think I've exhausted that stereotype. Sometimes they can be the black sheep because they're leaders. They go out their own way. They initiate action with passion. And put it into play. What else can I tell? The lamb that was worthy to be slain, the lamb and ram a ding dong. We have the lamb and the ram. Moving on, we have Taurus, the wild ox of the constellation Taurus, where we have the Pleiadian star system. Now we have Earth coming up on the scene. And after cardinal, we have fixed. So we have fixed Earth. A bull is hard to move. It's earthy, it loves to eat. I have Taurus sisters who are twins. It's a difference. And I'll come back to that. And they love the sensual, earthy stuff. Their ruler means the planet that's home is in that sign that has most characteristical traits in common with is Venus. So we have Mars, that Martian, kind of that young, like high school jock, like energy, like athletic dude. And then we have Venus. Venus is like the young, like freshman who is like beautiful. And we get them in different ways. These are archetypes. Archetypes are kind of the essence of what we are, things that we have in common. Myers-Briggs does their tests and they break things into 4, and it's actually the 4 elements. Here we have the modalities giving us 12. So we could look into somebody's personality with this science applied and find ways to actually help them to better get along in groups with others, get in touch with themselves. This is a shameless plug for book a reading with me. We'll go through your nativity scene when you were born, the stars that were pointing towards your crib, your manger. Mangy. Mangy and manger. Taurus, one of the animals that was in the crib during Jesus' birth, nativity scene. And how did they find it? Through the stars. The 3 magi from the east. This is us using the stars to find Christ and give birth to that Christ in us. So that we become the good shepherd to help others through their journey through the Mazzaroth, as God instructed us to bring forth in Job. Venus, So we have Venus and Earth. There we have Mars and fire. Here we have Venus and Earth. So the Taurian energy loves Earth. It's in the middle of spring. What a beautiful time. Oh, so beautiful. And now let's move over to our next sign. The bull also has to do with Baal. B-A-A-L. Al. Right here, the Al might be the oldest name for God. Or Bill, it says, is actually a very ancient name for God. Now let's go into the next sign. So we have cardinal, fixed, mutable. And now we have fire, earth, air. Oh, air does kind of figure out by the top. Shout out to me 10 minutes ago. Air. Here we have the twins of Gemini. Oh, two-faced Gemini. Brilliant. Because the ruler of them is Mercury. Mercury is that young toddler who's getting into everything, who wants to learn everything. Mercury, who's curious, mercurial about everything, trying to learn everything. Here he is in air. So this makes the Gemini, the twin, Thomas, who is Didymus, one of the apostles, which meaning twin is what Thomas means. Here we have him in the sign of Gemini. Castor and Pollux, two bright stars that make up the constellation Gemini, which is air. And so air is communication, talk, what I'm doing right now, studying. This is that Mercurian energy. Venus, what you love, your sensual energy. Mars, your passionate energy. So now we have mutable air. And our last season of spring as we go into Cancer, which is the 69 symbol. Shout out to 69 Tanichi, that rapper got 69 all over him. Because there's energy and we can use it for good, and it's only being used for bad. So we come up with the internet. Do we only let... We don't let anybody use the internet because people can do bad things with it. Well, it turns out it's been hidden, and so only mostly bad stuff has been done with it. Dark occult stuff, planning wars. There's a quote of Rockefeller who says, oh no, it's J.P. Morgan. He said, millionaires don't practice astrology, billionaires do. Well, I'm taking this, which was solely reserved for the kings of old. The Tudors is where my family heritage comes from in ancient Ireland. I recommend going to your family heritage. They were tutors to the O'Briens. Shout out to the MacCurtain clan of Ireland. And then they were watchmakers. Watchmakers means they studied the movement of the moon and the sun and the stars. Because, and there is me getting back into this. We're going to talk about reincarnation. Is that a thing? Hey, who do they say I am? Jesus asks his apostles. They say, some say Elijah. Some say John the Baptist. Well, this is reincarnation talk. Reincarnation is a thing. Astrology is a thing. Look to all the world religions, and the only thing, they don't want to teach it to people because of the power of it, quite frankly. Well, we are uncovering that and we're bringing it to the people. We are bringing the priesthood to the people. That's how we're balancing the scales of Libra that we live, of that archangel Michael holds in his hand. Whew. After the Virgin Mary. When I continue next, we're going to start. We're going to start with the crab, aka the scarab. the sacred feminine. We're going to resurrect that next. Thomas Wake. We're going to have so much fun doing this. Yeah. Check out astrowake.com. Forgive me for drooling on myself.